is my very first video and I'm probably gonna be super awkward, and I'm sorry if I'm really awkward. It's just how I am. I'm sorry. Anyways, so today as my first video, I really didn't know what to do, but since a lot of my friends were asking me about this, I thought might as well just make a video about it and just post it on YouTube, since I've been wanting to start a channel for quite some time now and I just didn't know how to start the video. So yeah, this is a long intro. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about my K-pop audition experience. I was just going to talk about YG Entertainment, but I auditioned for JYP like literally the week before, so I decided to do both in one video instead, since they were literally like a week apart, so there's no point in making two different videos for it. So I'm gonna start off with JYP. So JYP's audition, I think it was October 15th, 2016. And it was here in New York. I auditioned in the NYC one because that's where I live. So the audition started at 9:30 in the morning in Queens, New York, and it was at the YMCA or the YMC or something, but I got lost, which is hilarious because I guess I read it wrong. It said that it was in the YMCA, but it wasn't at the YMCA that I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be across the street from the Flushing High School, but it wasn't that YMCA. I'm guessing it was, so it was probably like a YMC or something, but it wasn't a YMCA. So after walking like 10 blocks after getting lost, I went to the other Y, and there was like a line outside the door. It was a huge line, and it was just a really big line. It was so weird because it was such a big line for such a small venue. To be honest, I expected the venue to be a lot bigger for JYP because it's JYP, but I guess not. We walked in. I was a walk-in because something got like messed up with my application, and she was like, you know what, to save any trouble, let's just do a walk-in. And this happened at YG too, but I'll get to that later. So I just did a walk-in, and when I did the walk-in, they took my information, filled out application, you know, name, age, what you're gonna audition for, email, any social media that you want to share with them, and everything. So I rapped for my audition. I know. It was pretty weird. And I was originally gonna sing, but all my friends told me that I sounded better rapping than singing, so I rapped.
Wanna be in the video? Wanna be in the video? Who also wanted to be in the video?
So basically, they had us in this waiting room, and the waiting room was pretty small. Like, by the time it was like 11 or 12 o'clock, it was so packed that there was like no seats left. Like, people were standing, and there was literally like no seats for anyone to like sit and practice and everything. So what they did when we were waiting, they just played JYP videos, mostly GOT7 and Twice. They mostly played GOT7, Twice, and JYP songs. Not like barely any G-Soul, barely any 2PM. Like, it was literally just GOT7, Twice focused. And they literally only played Hard Carry, Who's Your Daddy, Who's Your Mama, Who's Your Daddy, and Cheer Up. So we were waiting. I met two girls there, so we kind of like became friends, and we kind of like talked, and kind of calmed my nerves down. You entered in a room in groups of 5 or 10. In my case, it was 10. I saw how many people started to arrive. They narrowed it down from groups of 5 to groups of 10. So by the time it was my turn to go in, it was groups of 10. So when I went in, it was kind of intimidating because the room, it's not like SM. I auditioned for SM in 2014, and if anyone, like, SM audition experiences are literally all over the internet, and they all say the same exact thing, so there's like no point in me talking about SM. But like for SM, there was like a line. So there's a judge, and you all stand in one line, groups of 10, in front of the camera. So I thought it was gonna be like that because that was like the only K-pop audition I've been to, even though I've been to a few auditions, but like that was my very first K-pop audition. So I walked in, and I expected us all to stand in one line in front of the camera, but you don't. You go in a group of 10, but only one person stands in front of the camera per audition. So it was pretty intimidating because when you walked into the room, you can't see the judge. I don't know if this happens in other places, but for JYP and here in New York, it was like that. You couldn't see the judge. So basically when you walked in, there was a wall and like I guess a closet. It was like this, and the judge was sitting over here and we're standing here. So in order to see the judge, you had to look around like the little closet thing. And so we couldn't see the judge until we like go in to audition, like actually stand in front of the camera. And that was so intimidating because like when you don't see who you're gonna stand in front of, it's so intimidating, So it was just one judge for JYP, and he was like, I think he was the only judge in the whole entire like audition, and I feel bad because he probably stood there, he probably sat there like all day, and I would probably kill myself if I were sitting there all day listening to people audition. It's just him by himself and like the camera, and yeah, so that was the judge. When it was my turn to go in, I was literally shaking. I was like terrified because it was my first time auditioning for something K-pop related since SM Entertainment. I also auditioned for Kpop Star 6, and if you guys want to see an audition video about my experience at Kpop Star 6, then let me know and I'll make one for you guys. So basically for Kpop Star, I was like devastated after Kpop Star after what they told me. Basically what happened, I guess I'll just tell you guys now. Basically what happened at Kpop Star, they told me that because I was so nervous, I went off pitch. So that kind of made me scared to sing again at JYP. But I also had a very bad experience with SM Entertainment when it came to like auditions and stuff. So I just don't want to audition for anything K-pop. I kind of cut off auditions after that. So this is my first time auditioning for anything, like not even just K-pop, but auditioning for anything since SM Entertainment. So I was pretty much really nervous. So I think like my voice was like shaky and everything. But yeah, I was there and I was standing in front of the judge. I did my thing. Here's where I thought it was pretty funny, was usually if you guys have been to auditions, then you guys would know that if they cut you off, they're like, okay, thank you, you know. For JYP, he didn't say anything. He had a belt. When you sing for a certain time, he like cuts you off, but he doesn't say anything to cut you off. He has a little bell and he rings the bell. So it's like ding, okay, when you hear the ding, you go. And I actually did get cut off because I just kept singing because I was so nervous that I didn't know when to stop. So I just kept singing and rapping and he cut me off, but he literally cut me off like one line before I was gonna finish. So I'm not salty about that. So after that, we just walked out and that was it. I actually have the numbers. I have my numbers for both JYP and YG. I stuck them onto my notebook as like a little memory. Like even if I don't get in or if I don't pass the audition, I still have the memory of auditioning, and it's there right here. Looky. So this one's JYP and this one is YG. So now for YG Entertainment. YG Entertainment was held in a dance studio on Manhattan on 34th Street. It was October 23rd, 2016. Obviously, it's the 2016 global auditions. So it was held on October 23rd, which was literally this Sunday that just passed. So it's been 4 or 5 days. 4 days since the audition. I actually am pretty confident about my YG audition. I think I did pretty well, but I don't want to get too cocky because I'm not, as you guys can tell, I'm not Korean, I'm not Asian, so the chances of me getting in are still a bit slim. YG was held in a dance studio, which I thought was pretty cool because SM and Kpop Star were held in a hotel, and JYP was just in a YMCA, and YG held his in a dance studio, so like the acoustics for people who are singing are so much better, so you'll sound amazing regardless because the acoustics in the room are pretty cool. So for YG, you walk in, it started at 11. The thing with YG that I noticed, which is why I'm doing them both, JYP and YG, in one video, is because I found this very interesting. I never saw this at any audition I've ever been to, ever. YG was really strict with the auditions, with applications and applying for the audition and everything. So for JYP, you didn't really need an ID, and if you didn't have an application, they handed one to you. SM Entertainment, same thing. If you didn't have your application or a school ID or something, it's okay if you don't have an ID, but if you don't have an application, they were gonna give one to you. Same thing with Kpop Star. If you didn't have your application, there was one there for you to fill out on the spot. But for YG, if you didn't have an application, you had to go out and get one. They did not have one on the spot, and it was really weird because, like, usually companies have the application on hand for people who just found out about the audition and still really want to audition and they didn't get a chance to. You really had to, like, you just go in and they give you an application. YG did not. YG, if you did not have an application, they were like, okay, there's a Staples down the block. If you really want to audition, you have to go to Staples and get them and like print it out or something. And it was really weird because I've never been to an audition where they didn't have applications on hand for people who wanted to audition, but YG just did not have them there. Both of my friends actually had to go back out and print an application because I only had mine filled out. The thing is with me is, like, I applied online, I pre-applied, but my email got lost apparently, and I had to go in as a walk-in, which kind of sucked. It kind of upset me because, you know, I had applied a month in advance, but at the end of the day, I got in there at 9:30ish. No, not 9:30ish, what? I got there at like 11:10, so I was there pretty early. I got there at 11:10, and I finished my audition by like 12:30. By 12:30, I was already out the door, like walking to Koreatown to go eat. So it was pretty quick. If you did not have an application, you had to go get one and fill it out. You already had to have it filled out and then give it to the person. If you did not have an ID, you also had to go and get one. They did not accept your application. You did not have any sort of photo ID with your name on it. It had to have your name and it had to have your picture, because, you know, it had to have your name and your picture, and if you did not have your ID, I don't think they were gonna let you audition. I don't know, because one of my friends didn't bring in her ID, but they still let her audition. Another thing that I found very interesting with YG was, I had a friend, JYP had a limit, like a time limit, that's like after 5:30 they weren't gonna accept walk-ins and applicants anymore. Like registration ended at 5:30. But I had a friend who got there pretty late because, you know, she had just found out about the audition and she was like, no, I have to make it. And she had plans that day. So by the time she got there, it was already like 6 o'clock. And of course they were still auditioning. And they let her in. They let her sign up and everything. They still let her audition, which I thought was pretty cool. YG, on the other hand, if you did not get there by 1 o'clock, you're done for. They were really strict. YG was really strict. I had a friend who got there before 1 o'clock, so she was there at like 12:40-ish, about around there, 12:40-ish, I think. She had pre-applied just like I did, but she forgot. She didn't bring an application. So when she got there, she was like, oh, I pre-applied, but they were like, you still had to bring in your application. So she went out to Staples, and I'm guessing there was a line at Staples or something to print, because by the time she got back to the audition place, it was already 1 something, and they said, I'm sorry, but it's past 1 o'clock. We can't let you in. Even if you pre-applied, we can't let you audition. And literally when she told me that, I was like, bruh. I kind of felt bad because, you know, what are you gonna do? She wanted this so bad, and she's such a good singer. She would have gotten into YG like that. But YG was really strict with their time and their applications. Like, everything had to be exactly how they said it. And YG was so strict, and I actually appreciated that, because it wasn't like SM that was completely disorganized. SM was so disorganized when it came to like their applicants and stuff, that I really appreciated how organized YG was. YG had to be the most organized audition I've ever been to. So now the venue. The venue was a dance studio. The waiting room was inside a dance studio, and the actual audition room was in a dance studio. So they had like all these chairs, but like what I liked about them is that they had a space in the back with all the mirrors where all the dancers could practice, and that was pretty cool. So now to the actual auditioning part. When you walk in, they call you in groups of 5. So I walked in with 4 other girls, and I was the first one. So yeah, I was the first one. It was so nerve-wracking. Another thing that I liked about YG is that they let you audition with 2 categories. So if you want to audition as a singer and a dancer, you can audition as a singer and dancer. If you want to do rapping and visual, you can do rapping and visual. The judges were really sweet, and they looked pretty young. And if they're not in their mid-20s at most, then they take really good care of their skin, because they looked really, really young. So you sit in the chairs, and the judges are right here, and then they call you by the number. They say number and in my case they were like, okay, can we have number 512? Please stand in front on the little T tape. And they were like, whenever you're ready, you can start. So I started rapping, and then after I rapped, I sang, and they asked me to sit down. Oh my god! Do you guys see that? Oh my god! So another thing that I liked about YG was that they were so sweet to their auditioners. They were so nice. Like, at JYP, one of the girls messed up her song, and after she messed up, the judge was like, next. And so is SM. SM is like, if you mess up, they're like, okay, next. They're like, okay, thank you, next. With JYP, there was this one girl, and she messed up her lyrics, and she asked if she could start over, and the judge just smiled, and he was like, just take a deep breath, and whenever you're ready, start where you left off. And he let her finish her song, and I thought that was super duper sweet. I thought that was really nice of them. So after I sat down, the next 4 girls went. I actually met a YouTuber, and she's actually a YouTuber that I watched a lot. Yeah, her name is Sandra Lee, and it was so cool. Like, after that I went home, and they were like, okay, we'll let you guys know if our bosses like you guys. and that's what happened. I know my audition experience video kind of sucks, but I'm kind of awkward. I'm sorry. This is my very first video, and it's kind of weird just sitting and looking at a camera and talking to yourself. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, you guys can just comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos, because I'm planning on doing more videos. Actually, tell me guys what you guys want me to do. Like, I was thinking more of like a skincare kind of beauty, like Korean skincare beauty. It doesn't have to be Korean, but like skincare beauty kind of video, or fashion kind of video, because I actually want to do that as well, like skincare beauty fashion video, but also talk about news and vlogs. So comment down below what you guys want to see next. If you guys want me to do a video on like my K-pop star audition, or if you guys want to see blogs, not blogs, if you guys want to see vlogs, or if you guys want me to talk about like my favorite products and stuff, I'll totally do that for you guys.
Say bye. Say bye. I love you guys so much. Say bye.